Get ready for action, because the Milwaukee Brewers are heading to Wrigley Field for their first series against the Chicago Cubs, kicking off the 2026 season. The Brewers are looking to assert their dominance after a strong run, and we have the latest on the key players involved. We dive into the injury report to see who is missing from the Brewers lineup, including Quinn Priester and Brandon Woodruff, and what that means for their upcoming matchup against the Cubs. As they look toward the rest of the season. Finally, we look at the bigger picture. The White Sox proving that Chicago is now a Sox town, highlighting the dominance of Carlson Montgomery and Munetaka Murakami, and how this series loss solidifies the White Sox's rise. Don't miss any of the analysis. Stay tuned right here for all the updates. The Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago Cubs are set to begin their first series of the 2026 season, marking their first matchup since the Brewers defeated the Cubs in the NLDS last year. The Brewers travel to Wrigley Field for 3 games, starting Monday night in a contest aimed at asserting dominance over their rivals in the South. The Brewers enter the series riding a wave of success, following a series victory over the Twins and having secured 3 straight series wins after a 5-1 homestand against the Yankees and Padres. In contrast, the Cubs enter the series with a challenging record of 29-18, sitting 1.5 games ahead of the Brewers and Cardinals, though they have struggled in recent series matchups against key opponents like the Rangers, Braves, and White Sox. Injuries present a significant hurdle for both teams. The Brewers are dealing with a substantial injury list, missing key players including Quinn Priester, Brandon Woodruff, Rob Zastryzny, Jard Koenig, and Angel Zerpa, alongside outfielders Brandon Lockridge and Akil Baddoo. The Cubs are also facing pitching depth issues, with several key arms out, including Matthew Boyd, Hunter Harvey, Justin Steele, and others, leaving them vulnerable. The only reported position player injury for the Cubs is first baseman Tyler Austin, whose status is pending a knee procedure. Offensively, the Brewers are led by Bryce Turang, supported by William Contreras, Christian Yelich, Jackson Chourio, and Andrew Vaughn, with recent contributions from Sal Frelick, Jake Bowers, Garrett Mitchell, Gary Sanchez, and Luis Rengifo. As a team, Milwaukee is hitting, with a .693 ops, boasting 30 home runs and 218 runs. The Cubs' offense is anchored by Ian Happ, who leads the team with 10 homers, complemented by a strong middle of the lineup featuring Seiya Suzuki, Dansby Swanson, Pete Crow Armstrong, Alex Bregman, Michael Bush, and Nico Hoerner. The Cubs are hitting, with a .749 ops and 57 home runs. On the pitching side, the Brewers' bullpen is anchored by Aaron Ashby, D.L. Hall, Grant Anderson, Abner Uribe, and Trevor Megill, with Jake Woodford and Shane Drohan providing support. The Brewers' staff boasts a 3.29 team era, with a 3.23 starter era and a 3.36 bullpen era. The Cubs' pitching staff has a higher team era of 3.99, with a 4.12 starter era and a 3.8 bullpen era. Key matchups are highlighted for the opening day. On Monday, May 18, RHP Brandon Sproat 1-2, 5.75 era will face LHP Shota Imanaga 4-3, 2.32 era. Imanaga is in his 3rd MLB season and has shown strong form, while Sproat has struggled with walks and home runs this year. Tuesday, May 19, features RHP Jacob Misiorowski 3-2, 2.12 era, against RHP Ben Brown 1-1, 1.6 era. Misiorowski is showing significant improvement, while Brown has been productive in his swingman role. Wednesday, May 20, pits LHP Kyle Harrison, 4-1, 2.09 ERA, against RHP Edward Cabrera, 3-1, 4.06 ERA. Harrison is enjoying a breakout season, while Cabrera has shown inconsistency. The series promises to be a tough battle as the Brewers aim to assert their dominance. Analysts suggest the Brewers may edge out 2 of the 3 games, but the matchup remains highly competitive. The Chicago Cubs suffered a dramatic 9th-inning defeat, falling 9-8 to the White Sox on Sunday afternoon, a game marked by 2 blown 3-run leads and a late rally that ultimately fell short. The contest was a roller coaster, beginning with the Cubs establishing an early lead. Nico Hoerner led off with a single, and Michael Busch quickly put the Cubs ahead with a home run, establishing an early 2-0 advantage. The Cubs continued their momentum, with Alex Bregman extending the hit streak, and the team managed to rally to take a 4-2 lead in the 4th inning. However, the White Sox responded in the 5th, scoring a pair of runs, though an impressive defensive play by Pete Crow Armstrong prevented a potentially larger damage. The bullpen battle was intense. While both teams saw strong performances from their relievers, the Sox bullpen ultimately held firm for much of the middle innings. A critical turning point came in the 8th when a key moment saw Tristan Peters hit his first MLB home run, giving the Sox a 7-4 lead, before a shaky performance by Phil Maton led to a significant loss. The game swung dramatically in the 9th inning. The Cubs mounted a comeback, with Bregman leading off and Michael Conforto hitting a game-tying 3-run homer, tying the game at 7-7. Despite a subsequent run scored by the White Sox, the Cubs managed to hold on for a 1-run lead with 3 outs. The game concluded with a walk-off home run from catcher Edgar Quero for the White Sox, sealing the 9-8 loss for the Cubs. Looking at the broader context, the Cubs' struggles with pitching have been a major factor. They have blown 3 leads this season and face significant concerns regarding their starting rotation and bullpen depth, with key players still recovering. Despite the offensive output from the Cubs in the series, the White Sox's pitching performance proved decisive. The Cubs' division lead remains at 1.5 games over the Brewers and Cardinals, as the NL Central also saw losses. The focus now shifts to the need for reinforcements, particularly in pitching, to improve the team's prospects moving forward. The Chicago White Sox have dramatically shifted the narrative this season, proving that Chicago is now a Sox town. Entering the year without major championship ambitions, the team has exceeded all expectations by establishing a formidable culture and offensive prowess. Key to this success are 2 rising stars, shortstop Carlson Montgomery and first baseman Munetaka Murakami, whose power at the plate has made the White Sox one of the league's most dangerous offenses. Furthermore, despite an initial mound slump, the pitching staff has emerged as one of the most consistent groups in the league. The team's competitiveness was tested in the weekend series against their crosstown rivals, the Chicago Cubs, while also navigating their position in the AL Central. The Cubs, leading the NL Central, were viewed as a key indicator of the White Sox's current standing. After a disappointing series-opening loss on Friday, the White Sox responded with a dominant performance on Saturday evening. The game unfolded in a high-stakes rivalry clash. The Cubs initially took an early 3-0 lead, but the Sox mounted a fierce comeback. Tristan Peters hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning, followed by a 3-run blast from Michael Conforto. Although Murakami managed a 9th-inning double, the Sox ultimately failed to capitalize on the momentum, forcing extra innings. In the decisive moments, the White Sox demonstrated their resolve. After allowing a run in the top of the 10th, Edgar Quero delivered a 2-run bomb in the home half of the inning. This narrow victory solidified 2 key messages. The White Sox are a serious ball club, and the Windy City now belongs to them. This performance marks a significant turning point for the franchise. The Chicago Cubs are facing intense scrutiny following a disappointing performance from free agent pitcher Phil Maton. In a recent series loss against the Chicago White Sox at Wright Field, the Cubs fell 9-8. Maton pitched only 0.2 innings, allowing 2 hits and 3 earned runs. This marks a very poor start to his tenure with the franchise, as he has gone 0-1 with a 9.49 ERA over 14 games. The performance has sparked significant criticism from baseball observers. Jesse Rogers noted that Maton has struggled significantly since signing a free agent deal over the offseason. Another analyst highlighted the severity of the situation, stating that Maton has allowed 13 earned runs in 12.1 innings, resulting in a 9.49 ERA that ranks third worst in MLB among pitchers with at least 10 innings pitched. Concerns have been raised about his role in the bullpen, with some questioning why he remains on the roster after a substantial investment. Commentary from various sources suggests a need for immediate action, with calls for Maton to be released or demoted to mop-up duty once the pitching staff stabilizes. Critics pointed to his performance in high-leverage situations, noting a sharp increase in his ERA from 7.71 in a previous game to the current 9.49. Maton, drafted in the 20th round of the 2015 MLB Draft, has had a journeyman career spanning over 10 seasons and multiple organizations, accumulating 491 career games with a 4.07 ERA. Meanwhile, the Chicago Cubs remain a strong contender in the National League Central, currently holding the first-place position with a 29-18 record in 47 games. The team is 11-13 in 24 games on the road. The team is set to return to Wrigley Field on Monday night for a series against the Milwaukee Brewers.